Hello, I'm Leonardo Puglisi. It's Sunday the 17th of July. You're watching 6 News. Our top stories tonight: family fight. Two parties with the exact same name, both battling to get registered in Victoria, one claiming they came before the other. We speak exclusively to the Family First leader as Family First responds to 6 News via a statement. Also, COVID wave fallout continues after the government's decision to reintroduce pandemic isolation payment after days of pressure as two Omicron subvariants become the dominant strain of the virus. A red extreme warning issued in the UK for the first time as London prepares to reach temperatures of up to 40 degrees tomorrow amid an ongoing heatwave across Europe. And a 6 News exclusive: former Queensland Premier Campbell Newman prepares to speak out for the first time in depth following his unsuccessful Senate campaign and how he was treated by the media when he was in government. Good evening, nice to have your company. We begin this hour with an exclusive. Family First Victoria has declared they are perplexed after Family First Victoria had an application for registration received by the Victorian Electoral Commission. Family First was set up in South Australia in July last year as a revival of Family First, which was registered with the VEC as Family First Vic until 2014. But Family First Victoria says they started planning in May 2021. Tonight, Family First is now responding to 6 News, claiming Family First is nothing more than an imposter organisation and confirming they have begun federal court action to prevent Family First from using the name Family First. Reporter Lincoln Holmes has the details.
Tonight, a battle is playing out between two minor parties in Victoria, in a case that's even confusing some political experts. Two groups are trying to get registered with the Victorian Electoral Commission ahead of the November election. The only problem, they both have the exact same name. This is a story that starts in 2002 when the Family First Party was formed in South Australia. It was labelled by many as part of the Christian right, and there were multiple cases of MPs in different states joining the party. Throughout its 15-year existence, it enjoyed many successes, mainly in South Australia, and had 3 senators, one being around right up until the final days of the party. In April 2017, it merged with the Australian Conservatives. The next month, the Victorian branch of the Australian Christians also merged with the party. But the Conservatives were itself deregistered just 2 years later in 2019. That's where we bring in Family First. This party was formed in July last year by two former Labor ministers in South Australia, in an apparent attempt to bring back the original party. Earlier this year, 6 News exclusively revealed that Family First planned to go nationally and wants to run in the Victorian election as Family First Victoria. And that's where we bring in Family First Victoria. 6 News understands this party was planned in May 2021 with no connection to the original Family First. Family First Victoria had an application for registration received by the VEC in April, while Family First Victoria sent theirs this month. In a statement provided to 6 News, Family First, the second South Australian one, said they were indeed the original party. Family First has been revived with the full support of the original founders of the party along the same lines. Despite this, former Family First Senator Bob Day, who has since formed the Australian Family Party, said Family First was not the same as the original Family First.
It'd be like a couple of guys announcing they were restarting the Beatles. You know, they can call themselves the Beatles and sing a couple of old songs, but it's not the same.
Family First goes on to say that Family First Victoria is an imposter organisation attempting to gain political advantage by using the good name of Family First. We will defend our name and branding. Family First owns the copyrights and trademarks associated with the name, and she and FFV are not licensed to use them. Family First now says they have begun federal court action to prevent FFV from using the name, which is currently ongoing. The Victorian Electoral Commission tells 6 News that, as party name isn't registered in Victoria, there is nothing to stop the name from being used on 2 different applications, and the party that shows that they have 500 members and complies with all the registration requirements will be registered first. The Victorian Electoral Commission has also confirmed a technical glitch showed an application form from Family First Victoria being incorrectly linked to the second Family First Victoria application. The original Family First last contested the Victorian state election under the name Family First Vic in 2014. The deadline for parties to apply for registration in Victoria is July 29. Lincoln Holmes, 6 News.
And following that statement by Family First received by 6 News, 6 News has spoken to Family First Victoria leader and registered party officer Lisa Bentley in a pre-recorded interview. Here it is in full. Lisa Bentley, welcome to 6 News.
Thank you for having me, Leonardo. I'm a little bit nervous because I am not a polished public speaker, but I will do my best.
Oh, it's all good there. Tell us briefly, first of all, before we get into the whole situation with your name, about why you formed your party, Family First Victoria, and then also, why did you choose that name, Family First?
The reason I formed Family First Victoria was to support and advocate for family mental health and wellbeing. I am a family mental health therapist, and I'm aware of the mental health issues that families have experienced, particularly in Victoria over the last 2 years throughout lockdowns, from a very explicit perspective. And I guess I was sick and tired of hearing about all the issues and no one actually doing anything about it. So I put my hand up thinking, well, maybe we can be a voice for families in Victoria, and I'll start a party. So, and also, to be honest, Leonardo, I am a mother and a wife. I have 2 children, 2 teenagers, and I'm concerned for their future here in Victoria. So again, I guess I had that very strong personal motivation to do what I could to support my family, but other people's families in the future.
Yeah, now obviously your reasons are different, but you are still using, while not 100% the exact same, a fairly similar name to that party, Family First, that obviously existed for 15 years from 2002 until it merged with the Conservatives in 2017. And it was a very well-known party nationwide. I mean, they even had a senator here in Victoria. Did you think about the possibility that, pretending obviously we didn't have these issues, you got in the ballot paper, that people might confuse your party with that original Family First, given, as I said, they had a pretty well-known presence nationwide?
I didn't actually consider that possibility at all. I thought that I checked that they were deregistered. Obviously, I knew that they had existed also before. I knew they had a Christian background, but I didn't know a lot about the party. My background, I was brought up from my Maltese grandparents, basically. That's why I'm wearing my Maltese cross. And Maltese, a lot of European families, Italians, Greeks, Croatians, are very faith-based people, are Catholics. And so for me, it was about having Christian values, which are important to me also, but it was also for me about honouring my grandparents, because my grandmother used to say to me as a child, always put family first, Lisa. Always put your family first. Blood is thicker than water. So for me, that name, Family First, just resonated with me in a very deep personal level, I guess you could say.
Yeah, now ABN and ASIC information does show you registered Family First Victoria as a business name, and we'll make sure not to confuse it, as a business name, not as a party, in November last year. Now, Family First 2.0 in South Australia, they came about in July of that year. So were you aware of them at the time? And did you think that could possibly be a hurdle, given another Family First had also popped up? Obviously in a different state, but still with a near identical name, minus the Victoria part.
I was not aware of them at the time at all. Before we registered that name as a business, I checked with the VEC in regards to whether that name was available to register for the Victorian election, and they on no certain terms said that it was available. So from my perspective, we were doing all the right things, ticking all the right boxes. And as for registering as a political party, you actually can't do that until you are a political party. And to be a political party, you've got to go through the registration process of 500 members who have to tick 3 boxes, sign it, and send it back to the VEC. That's the process. So you can't actually be a political party until you've gone through that process. And there was no political party in Victoria at the time I registered that business name.
And so what was your reaction when this second Family First Victoria application actually was made? Because I think you commented on Facebook about it.
Sorry, could you just repeat that? Sorry.
Oh, I was just what your immediate reaction was when you found out that another Family First Victoria had applied to get registered. What was your immediate reaction?
Well, shock. To be honest, I honestly didn't think, as I said to you before, I honestly didn't think it was possible that 2 parties with the exact same name could actually pay a registration fee. I feel like it's really unfair to both parties, to be honest. And the fact that they allow it is very perplexing. I question the ethics around that. Although they do allow it, I have spoken to the VEC and they have verified that is allowable. So it seems like they're happy to take the money, and see who first gets across the line.
Now, sticking with the VEC there, they have confirmed to 6 News that obviously, given that there is no party currently registered with that name, Family First, anyone can apply, and it's a matter of whose party actually has the 500 members checked first. They will get registered first. Are you confident that'll be your party, that you'll be checked off first, because you do have that advantage that you applied several months earlier?
We are very confident. We have been working very hard. We don't have the money, resources, and people power that the other Family First party have. We only have a very small group of people who have been working behind the scenes in between, running their own lives, who have been helping out. But we have been working hard. I haven't been actually well. My health is not in the best condition at the moment because I've constantly been on the phone to members trying to get across the line. I'm a very positive person. I work with positive psychology, and I do believe that you can manifest success. So I, as the the leader of the party, feel very, very confident that the people who joined our party joined for a reason and they wanted a change, and that we will get across the line. You
said you were running in the upper house, weren't you? You're planning to?
Yes. Yeah, I am planning to run for the upper house. Yeah.
Yeah. And we know there's obviously a situation where we do have the group voting ticket system, and let's assume you do get cleared, you're all good to register. Those group voting tickets do have a pretty big impact. And so, as our viewers might know, and if they don't, when you vote above the line in Victoria solely, parties can choose your preferences, and we know there's preference swapping, there's deals with Glendrury's Micro-Party Alliance. Do you have any plans to work with him, and will you be transparent in letting voters know, if they vote for you, who your preferences might end up going to?
I haven't even thought that far ahead, Leonardo. All I can think about is getting this party over the line. This is the thing. People ask you questions about policies and preferences and candidates, and none of it matters unless you have a political party first. And I actually don't have a political party yet. We have been working really hard to create that political party. This has been boots on the ground style campaigning, Leonardo, in the heat, in the rain. I turned 50 this year. It has not been easy. My health has suffered. People, it's frustrating because people say they want change and they want better systems in place in Victoria, but a lot of them aren't willing to put their money where their mouth is, to be honest. And people who signed up with us, I thought was in good faith, being out there, in the trenches month after month after month, a lot of these people haven't confirmed with the VEC. And that's why I've got back issues, I've got health issues, because I'm constantly on the phone trying to get across the line. So, Leonardo, a question like that is absolutely irrelevant, I'm sorry, because all I can do every waking moment, I am on the phone to our members trying to get them to confirm that we are a bona fide political party who want to run and be a voice for Victorian families.
Lisa Bentley, we wish you well with your health. We really appreciate you taking the time to chat with us, and we'll continue to follow this really extraordinary story. But best of luck to you regarding the registration. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Thanks, Leonardo.
Lisa Bentley there, and we've got more on that family feud and the latest party registration news on our website right now, SIXNewsAU.com. Well, fallout continues tonight following the federal government's decision to reintroduce the pandemic isolation payment after days of pressure from the Greens, opposition, state governments, trade unions and many more. Tomorrow's National Cabinet meeting was brought forward amid the rising COVID wave in winter as health authorities confirm 2 Omicron subvariants are becoming the dominant strain of the virus. Port Austin Pollock has the latest developments.
Temperatures dropping, cases rising. The winter COVID wave is here, just when COVID started disappearing from our headlines. A massive spike in cases, hospitalisations and deaths are making authorities concerned, and also the fact that the new variants BA4 and BA5 are more contagious than first predicted. Officials continuing to repeat the same message with fears people are becoming complacent.
If you are eligible to get a booster, get it. They're free, they help protect your health and help alleviate the impact of COVID.
Over 400,000 people have received their 4th dose in the last few days. This, what the Prime Minister says, is very positive.
The substantial increase in the number of people receiving their 4th shot, some 400,000 people in just recent days.
Moments after the PM arrived back from Fiji, he was briefed on the latest situation by the nation's top health officials and then called a National Cabinet meeting, bringing it forward by 2 days to Saturday. And there are predictions that suggest that over 1 million Australians may contract COVID-19 within the coming weeks, with daily numbers to possibly be as high as what we saw at the beginning of the year. In the 24 hours to Saturday, Australia recorded 77 deaths and 40,385 new cases. Over 11,000 of those were in New South Wales. The Department of Health and Aged Care predicts right now there is over 300,000 active cases across the country. One major topic flagged by state premiers is the return to emergency pandemic payments, a scheme that ended only a few weeks ago. But now the government has backflipped on its decision, even after saying this in Fiji a few days ago.
Good employers are recognising that people are continuing to work from home whilst they have COVID and are receiving, therefore, payments through that. They also inherited $1 trillion of debt.
People who test positive and cannot receive sick leave. Also, if a person needs to stay home to care for a person with a disability or is under the age of 16 or has COVID, can receive up to $750 starting Wednesday and backdating to the 1st of July.
And indeed, I want to make sure that people aren't left behind, that vulnerable people are looked after, and that no one is faced with the unenviable choice of not being able to isolate properly without losing an income and without being put in a situation that is very difficult. So it is appropriate, given the increases that are there, that we reverse the decision which we inherited from the former government to cease this payment.
The payments will be covered 50-50 between state and federal governments, but they haven't gone as far as reintroducing nationwide restrictions. Instead, leaders agreed that they will provide their jurisdiction with consistent health messaging, including wearing masks indoors. Following today's meeting, Anthony Albanese has said National Cabinet will now meet every 2 to 3 weeks so they can keep updated with the ongoing COVID-19 situation. Austin Pollock, 6 News.
Overseas, the mother of the British aid worker who has reportedly died after being captured has spoken out. Paul Yuri was captured in southeast Ukraine in April with separatists in the Donetsk People's Republic, a breakaway state, charging him with mercenary activities. It's been reported by the ABC that the 45-year-old had been suffering from diabetes and respiratory, kidney and cardiovascular issues. His mother, Linda Uri, has now addressed the DPR officials, saying, "I hate you all. I'm absolutely fuming." UK Foreign Secretary Liz Truss said in a statement she's shocked to hear reports of his death. Europe is right now still sweltering through a major heatwave, with temperatures in London set to get to 40 degrees tomorrow. The UK Met Office has issued a red extreme warning for the first time. Manchester also expected to hit 36, while Birmingham is likely to get to 37. Authorities are warning people need to be prepared, with fears lives may be at risk due to the intense conditions. Former Queensland Premier Campbell Newman is preparing to speak out for the first time in depth after his unsuccessful Senate run at the federal election. Mr Newman ran for the Liberal Democrats, who picked up 2.99% of the vote in the Queensland Senate race. That's just over 75,000 individual votes. He sat down with award-winning 6 News chief reporter Conrad Forcade to discuss the campaign, as well as how the media treated him both during that campaign and when he was in government.
Do you stand by your comment that the media is a pack of bastards?
Oh, back in that period, yes, they were.
And that Spin Check special will also include comments from former 7 Queensland political editor Patrick Condren and academic Margaret Simons. It airs this Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern on the 6 News YouTube channel, or you can catch up anytime after that. The full Campbell-Newman interview will be on Uncensored on the Tuesday that follows. Stay tuned for more. Taking a look at what's making news on 6newsau.com right now, and a new edition of Commonwealth Knowledge is out now, with a look from our contributor Stuart Jeffrey at Austro-Pacific Relations and the Constitution following the Pacific Islands Forum. Also meet James Bond, who ran as an ungrouped Senate candidate in Victoria, campaigning on the slogan, "Vote out the Boomers." Of course, unlike candidates running as part of a party or one in an unnamed group, ungrouped candidates can only be voted for below the line. That full interview and edition of Spin Check can be checked out now. Sad news for members of the Seniors United Party. They have been deregistered by the Federal Australian Electoral Commission after 7 years, but still have an MP in New South Wales despite not actually being registered there. You can check that out. And of course, you can sign up to the new 6 News newsletter, 6 News Now, to check out all our original reporting. The link to do so is also on our website, 6newsau.com. And I was Ivan and Melly with a look at what's coming up later tonight on WAMN News.
Thanks, Leo. Tonight on WAMN News, a public hospital midwife discusses delays in the reopening of Bentley Hospital's maternity unit. Our exclusive report.
Protest over the McGowan government's proposal to move juvenile offenders to a maximum security prison.
Chris Dawson officially becomes governor as Kim Beazley retires.
Police appeal to the public for information after a stabbing attack in Fremantle, and later Dr Andrew Miller's comment. Join us tonight on the WAMN News Facebook page and YouTube channel.
Thanks both Ivan and Melly there. Now let's head over to our very own senior reporter Darby Travis, who's in Sydney, with a look at tomorrow's weather forecast.
Leonardo, Puglisi, you know the old saying, you can't beat a beautiful blue sky day here in Sydney. Well, that is exactly what we've got, as we say a very good evening to yourself and all of the viewers tuning in tonight here on 6 News. Hey, great weather as well after all of that flooding and rain that's been lashing across New South Wales the last couple of weeks and indeed months. But let's check in with tomorrow's weather forecast now right across the country, starting of course in Brisbane, getting to 23, partly cloudy, just 14 in Sydney, starting the day very cold down there in the nation's capital, 0 warming up to 11 later on in the day. Similar conditions down in Melbourne, rain in Hobart getting to a top of 8 degrees, 13 in Adelaide, over in Perth getting to a top of 19, and Darwin as always warming up a top of 29 degrees. I tell you what, where else would you want to be but here in Circular Quay, picture perfect conditions as we throw back to Melbourne and Leo in the studio.
Gee, I envy you there. Absolutely fantastic view there, Darby Travers, our senior reporter in Sydney. Before we go tonight, recapping our top stories, and two parties, both with the exact same name, Family First Victoria, are both currently battling to get registered in the state, one claiming they came before the other, as the VEC confirms they can both apply for registration out of a deadline later this month. And finally, just again reminding you, Spin Check this Thursday at 8 PM Eastern, not one to be missed, that incredible 4-month special report from our award-winning chief reporter Connor Forke, looking at the state of the media, why people are so mad at the media. Again, that is this Thursday, 8 PM Eastern. You can check that out on our YouTube channel, subscribe with full notifications so you don't miss it. Also catch up anytime, as well as on our website, SIXNewsAU.com, and of course we'll have articles there, and that Campbell Newman uncensored interview. You don't want to miss it. In depth, in person, that's uncensored, the Tuesday that follows, more details set to come. And that is 6 News for this Sunday evening. You can stay up to date with all the latest headlines by heading to our website, SIXNewsAU.com, and by following us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Lit. Just search 6NewsAU to find us. Help keep us independent as well by donating just $4 a month and receive exclusive benefits, patreon.com/6NewsAU. I'm Leonardo Puglisi. Thanks for your company.